Chosen one, do not scroll. Stop. Right here, right now. You felt something shift this week, didn't you? Somebody went quiet. Somebody who used to text you every day suddenly has nothing to say. A friendship that felt permanent started feeling like a performance. A family member picked a fight over nothing. A door you thought would stay open forever quietly closed, and nobody explained why. You have been sitting with that, turning it over at 2 in the morning, asking yourself what you did wrong. Hear me clearly. You did nothing wrong. I am removing 3 people from your life this week. 3. And I need you to understand something. Before another hour passes, this is not punishment. This is promotion. What looks like abandonment is actually amputation, and the surgeon is holy. You are not losing people. You are being released from weight you were never meant to carry into what I have already prepared for you. And whatever you do, do not stop it. Do not chase. Do not beg. Do not explain yourself one more time to someone I have already dismissed from your assignment. By the end of this message, you will know exactly who the 3 are, why each one is being lifted out, and what is walking into the empty space they leave behind. But I am not going to give you all 3 at once. You are going to have to stay with me, because the 3rd one, the 3rd person, is the one you would never suspect. The 3rd one is the one you have been defending, and when I name them, everything in your life for the last 2 years is going to make sense in a single breath. Stay with me. This video did not find you by accident. You were not browsing. You were being routed. Every video you scrolled past in the last 10 minutes was a filter, and you slipped through every one of them until you landed here, on this thumbnail, at this second, with this exact ache in your chest. That is not the algorithm. That is me using the algorithm. Comment 777 right now before you go any further, because 777 is the number of divine completion multiplied by itself, and the moment you type it, you are agreeing, out loud and on the record, that you will not fight what I am removing. That comment is a signature. It tells me your hands are finally open, and I cannot fill hands that are still clenched around what I am taking. Type it, then come back, because the next part is for you alone. Now listen, there is a thing I do that my people almost never recognize while it is happening. I prune. I told you plainly. Every branch in me that bears no fruit, I take away. And every branch that does bear fruit, I prune, so that it may bear more fruit. Read that again with your spirit and not your eyes. The branch being cut is not the bad branch. The branch being cut is the branch that is already producing. Pruning is not what I do to failures. Pruning is what I do to potential. The vine that never grows is left alone. Nobody wastes a blade on a dead plant. The blade comes out for the ones going somewhere. So when you feel the cut this week, and you will feel it, I want the first thought in your mind to be this: the shears only come out for the branches with a future. Understand what pruning actually is. A vine dresser walks into the vineyard with a knife and cuts away growth that looks perfectly healthy. Green, alive, leafy. To an untrained eye, it is vandalism. The branch being removed is not diseased. It is simply drawing sap that the fruit needs. It is consuming resources and returning nothing. It is beautiful, and it is barren, and it is starving the harvest. That is what some of these relationships have become. Not evil, not villains, just leaves. Beautiful, familiar, sap-draining leaves. And I am not willing to let your harvest fail so that your comfort can stay intact. You have been praying for a new level. You have asked me for the door, the position, the partner, the platform, the peace. You have said, God, take me deeper. God, use me. God, I am ready. You just did not realize that ready comes with a knife, because there is a law in my kingdom that nobody preaches loudly enough. Elevation always begins with subtraction. Always. I have never once in the history of my dealings with humanity raised someone up without first stripping something away. Not once. Look at every single person I ever used, and you will find the same fingerprint on every story. The removal came before the reward. Abraham. Before I gave him a nation, I told him to leave his country, his kindred, and his father's house. 3 separations: country, kindred, father's house. I did not give him the promise and then let him keep everything else. The promise required the leaving. And notice, those were not bad people. That was his family, his culture, his comfort. I asked him to walk away from people who loved him, because their love was the exact thing that would have kept him in Ur while destiny waited in Canaan. Sometimes what holds you back is not hatred, it is affection. Some of the people I am removing this week love you, genuinely, and their love is a rope tied around your ankle. Joseph. Before he wore the signet ring of Egypt, his own brothers stripped his coat and threw him in a pit. That looked like the end of a family. It was the beginning of a nation's survival. Years later, he stood in front of those same men and said the sentence that ought to reframe your entire week. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. He did not say, I forgive you and let us pretend it never happened. He said there were 2 authors of that betrayal, and one of them was me. Chosen one, there are 2 authors of what happened to you. They thought they were leaving. They were being moved. They thought they were ghosting you. They were being escorted out. They thought they were making a choice. They were fulfilling a decree. Nobody exits your life without my permission. Nobody. If they walked, I opened the gate. And I want you to sit inside that truth until it stops feeling like rejection and starts feeling like security. Because if I control the exits, then nothing that left was ever yours to keep, and everything that stayed is under my protection. That should make you exhale. Now, stay with me, because I am about to name the first of the 3. But before I do, I want you to notice something you have been ignoring. Look at the last 90 days, not the last week, 90 days. You will find a pattern. Conversations that used to flow now feel like work. You leave certain rooms more tired than when you walked in. You have started editing yourself, softening your wins, hiding your growth, downplaying your dreams around specific people. You have caught yourself saying it's nothing about things that were actually miraculous because you already know how they will respond. That editing is a symptom. You are shrinking to stay in a container you have outgrown. I did not bring you this far so you could apologize for your size. Here is the first one. The first person I am removing this week is the one who loved you at your lowest and cannot survive your rise. This is the hardest one, so I am giving it to you first while your heart is still open. They were real. That is what makes it hurt. They sat with you in the season nobody else showed up for. They know the version of you that cried on the bathroom floor. They lent you money. They answered at 3 a.m. They saw you before the world saw you. And that is precisely the problem. Some people can only love you in the version of you they rescued. Their affection is tied to your need. The moment you stop needing them, the relationship loses its language. They do not know how to talk to a you who is standing. Their identity was built on being the strong one, the stable one, the one who had it together in comparison. And your elevation quietly deletes that identity. So they get distant, they get strange, they get critical about things they never used to notice. They start saying, "You've changed," with a tone that makes it sound like a crime. You have changed. That was the point. That was the entire point of every night you prayed and did not sleep. Watch what happens in the room when you announce good news. Watch the face before the mouth catches up. Some faces light. Some faces flicker. That flicker is data. That flicker is me showing you something in real time, and you have been trained to ignore it out of loyalty. Loyalty to what is behind you is not a virtue when I am calling you forward. Here is what I need you to accept. They are not evil. Do not make them a villain. It will poison you. They are simply assigned to a season that has ended, and they cannot cross the border with you. Their passport does not have that stamp. If you drag them across, you will spend the entire next chapter managing their discomfort instead of doing what I sent you to do. So I am ending it, cleanly, this week. And when it ends, you are going to feel guilty. That guilt is not conviction. That guilt is withdrawal. Learn the difference or you will reopen a door I just sealed. If this is already landing in your chest, if you already know exactly whose face I am describing, Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe right now, because there are 2 more people coming, and the second one is going to explain something about your family that you have never had words for. Liking this pushes it to the next chosen one, who is sitting in a car right now, crying, thinking nobody sees it. Be the reason they get found. Subscribe so I can reach you again next week, because what starts this week does not finish this week. Now stay with me. Second one. But first, understand the mechanism, or you will keep making the same mistake for another decade. There is a difference between people I sent and people you recruited. Some people came into your life by covenant. Others came in by loneliness. I want you to be honest right now. How many of your closest relationships were built on genuine alignment, and how many were built on availability? On proximity? On the fact that you were empty at the time and they were there? Loneliness is a terrible hiring manager. It does not check references. It hires anyone who shows up. You have signed contracts in seasons of hunger that you would never sign now. Friendships formed because you needed somewhere to sit. Relationships formed because you could not stand the silence. Circles formed because you were scared of being the only one. I am not angry about that. I am simply auditing. And in an audit, things get removed. Look at Gideon. I gave him 32,000 men and a war to win. And instead of adding, I subtracted. I told him the army was too large. Too large. Whoever is fearful, send them home. 22,000 walked away in a single announcement. Then I told him the 10,000 remaining were still too many, and I filtered them by how they drank water until 300 stood on that hill. 99% removed. Then the victory. Chosen one, you have been counting your losses. I have been counting your qualifiers. You keep looking at who left, I keep looking at who is left. 300 aligned people will do what 32,000 misaligned people never could. My kingdom does not run on volume, it runs on agreement. And I would rather send you into your next assignment with 2 people who actually hear my voice than 20 who only hear yours when it is convenient. So do not panic at the shrinkage. The shrinkage is the strategy. Now, the second person. The second one I am removing this week is the one whose assignment quietly expired and neither of you noticed. This is the one that confuses you the most, because there was no betrayal, no fight, no scandal, just static, a slow fade, fewer calls, shorter replies, plans that never get scheduled. A friendship running on nostalgia and obligation, held together by shared history and nothing else. You keep asking, what happened? Nothing happened. That is the answer. The assignment finished. Some people are sent to you as bridges. A bridge is not a destination. A bridge exists to get you across something you could not cross alone. A job, a city, a grief, a season of survival. And when your feet touch the other side, the bridge does not come with you. Bridges are not meant to be carried. That is what makes them bridges. You have been trying to carry a bridge on your back into a season that requires your hands free. Think of Naomi and her 2 daughters-in-law. Both of them wept. Both of them loved her. Both of them started down the road with her. And at the border, Orpah kissed her and turned back, and Ruth clung and kept walking. Orpah is not the villain of that story. Scripture does not condemn her. She simply was not assigned to Bethlehem. She had a real love and a limited assignment. If Naomi had spent the rest of her life mourning Orpah, she would have missed that Ruth was standing right beside her the whole time. Some of you are so busy grieving your Orpah that you have not noticed your Ruth. There is someone in your life right now, quiet, consistent, easy to overlook, who has been showing up while you have been distracted by whoever is walking away. You have been giving your attention to the exit and ignoring the loyal. That ends this week too. Look at Elijah and Elisha. When the chariot came, Elijah was taken and the mantle dropped. Elisha did not chase the chariot. He could not. He picked up what was left behind and struck the water with it. The relationship ended and the anointing transferred. That is what happens when a divine assignment completes correctly. You do not lose the person and gain nothing. You lose the person and inherit the deposit they were carrying for you. Everything that person was sent to give you, you already have. It is in you now. The container leaving does not remove the contents. You are not losing what they taught you, what they showed you, the strength they built in you. That stays. That is yours forever. What is leaving is the container. Stop mourning the packaging of a gift you already opened. Say this with me, wherever you are. I release what has completed. I keep what it built in me. Say it again, out loud if you can. Words are not decoration in my kingdom. Words are construction. Now, do you feel that? That loosening in your chest? That is the grip letting go. And I still have not told you about the third one. The third one is different. The third one is not a bridge and not a friend from the low season. The third one was never sent by me at all. The third one has been sitting inside your circle wearing the language of loyalty, and you have defended them at dinner tables, in group chats, and to people who tried to warn you. I will name them, but not yet. Because before I do, you need armor, and I am building it right now. Here is your armor. You must stop interpreting removal as rejection. Rejection says you were not good enough. Removal says they were not aligned enough. Do you see the difference? One is a verdict on your worth. The other is a verdict on their fit. And you have spent years applying the wrong one to yourself. Every time someone left, you did an autopsy on your own character. You went through the conversations. You wondered which sentence did it. You replayed the last time you saw them, hunting for the moment you became unlovable. Chosen one, listen to me. You were never unlovable. You were unmatched. Not in the sense of superior, in the sense of unpaired. You have been putting people in seats they were never built for and then wondering why the chair broke. That is not your failure. That is furniture. And here is a truth that will heal something in you today if you let it. Some people left because they were not strong enough to hold what is coming to you. They could not stand next to a blessing that size. It would have exposed things in them they are not ready to face. I removed them for their sake as much as yours. Proximity to your elevation would have poisoned them with envy, and I love them too. So I moved them out of range before the thing that could have destroyed them ever arrived. You thought you were being abandoned. You were being escorted out of a collision. Comment 777 again if this just hit you, because I want the record to show the exact moment you stopped reading rejection into what was actually rescue. Now let me talk about Judas. There was a man who sat at the table for 3 years. He heard every teaching, he saw every miracle, he watched water become wine, watched the blind receive sight, watched the dead walk out of tombs. He was trusted with the money bag. He was called friend to his face on the night of the betrayal, and he was never converted by any of it. Understand what that means. Proximity is not the same as alignment. Access is not the same as loyalty. You can sit at the table for years and still be positioned for the exit. Some of the people around you have seen every miracle in your life and still do not believe in you. They watched me open doors for you and called it luck. They watched me deliver you and called it coincidence. They have front row seats and back row hearts. And notice how it ended. In that upper room, Jesus handed him the bread and said, "What you are about to do quickly." That was not a plea. That was a release. He accelerated his own betrayal. He said, "Go," because the assignment could not proceed until the misaligned man was out of the room. Read that again with your life in mind. The assignment could not proceed until the misaligned man was out of the room. That is why this week feels the way it feels. I am not allowing what I am about to give you to be handled by the wrong hands. There are things scheduled for you that would not survive contact with certain people. Opportunities that would be talked out of you. Ideas that would be stolen. Peace that would be dismantled. Doors that would be closed by association. So I am clearing the room first. And notice, the moment Judas left, Scripture says it was night. He went out and it was night. And in that night, everything sacred happened. The bread, the cup, the new covenant, the words that would echo for 2,000 years. The deepest revelation of the entire ministry came after the exit. Your deepest season is on the other side of somebody's exit. You cannot have the upper room with the wrong number of people in it. Now, the third one. Are you ready? The third person I am removing this week is the one you have been defending. There is somebody in your life that people have warned you about. More than one person, from different circles, at different times, independently. And every single time, you had an explanation. You said they meant well. You said they are just going through something. You said you do not know them like I do. You defended them because letting them go would have meant admitting you were wrong about them, and admitting you were wrong felt more expensive than staying uncomfortable. Pride can look exactly like loyalty from the inside. This person has a pattern, not an incident, a pattern. They are supportive when you struggle and strangely silent when you succeed. They know things about you that you regret telling them. Conversations with them leave a residue. You feel slightly worse about yourself after and cannot explain why. Your intuition has flagged them a dozen times and you overruled it every time. That intuition was me. I have been speaking to you in your gut for months and you kept calling it paranoia. This one is being removed with force, chosen one, because gentle did not work. I sent whispers. I sent warnings. I sent the friend who said the awkward thing at the wrong time. I sent that dream you woke up from unsettled. I sent the delay that should have shown you their true colors. You did not move, so I am moving them. And when it happens, it may look ugly. There may be an explosion, a revelation, a message you were not supposed to see. Something will come to light and it will sting, and in the sting you will finally see what I have been trying to show you all year. Do not go back and negotiate. Do not accept the apology that comes with no changed behavior. Do not confuse an apology with repentance. One is words about the past, the other is a different future. Let it burn, and thank me while it burns. Because Paul wrote from a prison cell near the end and said, Demas has forsaken me, having loved this present world. Demas was not an enemy. Demas was a co-worker, named in earlier letters right alongside Luke, a companion in the work. And at the end, when the cost got real, Demas loved comfort more than calling and walked out. Paul did not go after him. He wrote one line about him and kept building the kingdom. That is the model. One line, then keep building. You have written entire chapters about people who deserved one line. You have journaled, analyzed, replayed, and rehearsed conversations with people who have not thought about you in 6 months. You have given rent-free residence in your mind to tenants who moved out years ago. Evict them, not with hate, with indifference. The opposite of love is not hate. Hate is still a relationship. The opposite is indifference. And indifference is where your energy comes home. Now I want to talk to the part of you that is still hurting, because I have not forgotten that part. I know it hurt when they stopped answering. I know you saw them post and it stung that they had energy for the world and none for you. I know you typed messages you never sent. I know you checked to see if they viewed it. I know you rehearsed what you would say if you ran into them. I know about the birthday that passed with silence from someone who used to plan them. I know about the group you were slowly excluded from without ever being told you were out. I know about the family member who talks about you in rooms you are not in. I know about the person you would have given a kidney to who could not give you a phone call. I saw all of it, every single instance. I was in the room when your face changed and you pretended it did not bother you. I heard the sound you made when you thought nobody was listening. I counted every tear, not metaphorically. I keep them. I have a record of grief you thought went unwitnessed. You were not overreacting. You were not too sensitive. You were not asking for too much. You were giving covenant-level loyalty to people operating at convenience-level commitment, and the math was never going to work. Let that sentence sit. You were not too much. You were misplaced. And I am relocating you. Here is what happens next, and this is the part nobody tells you. When a branch is pruned, nothing happens for a while. That is the hardest part. Not the cut, the quiet after the cut. The vine sits there in the cold, looking diminished, looking damaged, looking like it lost. Anyone walking through the vineyard in that season would say the plant is dying. But underneath, something is happening that cannot happen any other way. The energy that was feeding leaves is being redirected to roots. The plant is going deeper because it can no longer go wider. And when the season turns, the pruned vine outproduces the unpruned vine by a margin that looks like a miracle. Every unpruned vine looks better in winter. Every pruned vine wins in harvest. You are in the quiet after the cut. That is what these next few weeks are. So let me prepare you for the silence, because the silence is where most people undo the work. There will be a night, and I am telling you now so you recognize it when it comes, where the loneliness gets loud, where your thumb hovers over a name you should not call, where you will construct a very reasonable argument for why reaching out is the mature thing to do, where you will confuse being alone with being abandoned. On that night, remember this message. Remember that you were told in advance. Remember that the ache is not evidence of a mistake. The ache is evidence of an amputation that is healing correctly. Do not fill the vacancy. I need to say that again, and I need you to write it down. Do not fill the vacancy. The empty space in your life is not a problem to solve. It is a room being prepared. And if you rush to fill it with whoever is nearest and warmest, you will hand the keys to a squatter and then wonder why the rightful tenant never arrived. I cannot send you the right people while you are still auditioning replacements out of panic. Every space I clear is a space I intend to fill, but I fill it on my timeline, with my selections, after my silence. And I have never once emptied a life and left it empty. Not once in all of history. Read the whole record. Every removal was followed by a replacement of higher order. Naomi lost 2 sons and gained a lineage that produced kings. Job lost everything and received double. Joseph lost his family and received Egypt, and then received his family back, transformed. Ruth lost a husband and became a great-grandmother of David. The disciples lost their teacher for 3 days and gained a resurrection. I do not do subtraction as an ending. I do subtraction as a setup. So when you look at that empty chair this week, and you will look at it, I want a different sentence in your mouth. Not who left, instead, who is coming, because someone is coming. Let me describe them so you recognize them when they walk in. The people I am sending do not need the version of you that struggles. They can handle the version of you that wins. They will celebrate your news before they process what it means for them. Their first reaction will be joy, not calculation. They will not require you to shrink. You will not have to soften your dreams in the telling. You will not have to leave out the part where you succeeded. They will hold your name in rooms you are not in, and they will hold it well. They will correct you to your face and defend you behind your back. That combination is rare, and it is the mark of my sending. Anyone who does the opposite, flattery to your face and commentary behind your back, was never mine. They will come with capacity, not just affection, capacity. There is a difference between someone who loves you and someone who can carry you. You have had plenty of the first. I am sending the second, and they will arrive quietly. That is important. Divine connections rarely announce themselves with fireworks. They come in as a conversation that goes longer than expected. A person you have known for a while who suddenly becomes important. A stranger who says the exact thing you needed on a random Tuesday. Watch for the ordinary. I hide my best gifts inside it because I want people who are actually paying attention. Pay attention this week. Now, I told you at the beginning that this week is a turning point, and I want to be specific about why. There are windows in the spirit, times when the veil is thin and things move fast. You are standing in one. What normally takes a year is going to take days. Relationships that have been slowly decaying will resolve suddenly. Conversations that have been avoided for months will happen without warning. Truth that has been buried will surface. And your only job is to not interfere. Do not rescue what I am removing. Understand how much I am asking. Because your instinct, your beautiful and dangerous instinct, is to fix. You are the one who holds things together. You are the one who reaches out first. You are the one who takes the blame to end the conflict. You are the one who keeps the group chat alive. You are the one who apologizes for things you did not do because peace matters more to you than being right. That instinct has been your gift and your prison. This week, I am asking you to sit on your hands. When the silence comes, let it be silent. When they do not reach out, do not reach. When the misunderstanding hangs in the air, let it hang. When they wait for you to fold first, and they will, because you always do not fold. Not out of pride, out of obedience. Some doors only close if you stop holding them open. I have been trying to close a door in your life for 2 years, and every time it swings shut, you catch it with your foot. You call it grace. You call it giving second chances. You call it being the bigger person. But at some point, holding a door open that I closed is not grace, it is disobedience wearing a nice outfit. Let it close, and here is the promise attached to your obedience. Everything that leaves this week will be replaced within the season, not eventually, within the season. I am not asking you to live in a vacuum for years. I am asking for a brief and holy emptiness so that I can furnish the room properly. You have been living in a house full of borrowed furniture, things you accepted because you needed somewhere to sit. This week I am clearing it out, and what walks in next will match the person you have become, not the person you were when you settled. If you are still with me, and I know you are, because the ones who need this do not leave, go ahead and like this video and make sure you are subscribed. Not for me, for you. Because there will be a night this week when you need to hear this again, and I want it easy to find. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because when the second wave comes, and there is a second wave, I will speak again, and you will want to be in the room. Now let me deal with the guilt, because guilt is the last weapon they have. You are going to feel like a bad person. You are going to feel like you should have tried harder, like a real friend would have called, like family is family no matter what, like walking away makes you cold. That guilt is not from me. I want you to test it. My conviction is specific, and it always comes with a way forward. It names the exact thing and offers the exact repair. It sharpens you and then releases you. The enemy's guilt is vague and endless. It has no exit. It says you are just a bad person, generally, forever, and there is nothing you can do about it. It loops. It attaches to old things you already handled. It gets loudest right when you are about to obey me. If the feeling has no exit door, it is not mine. You are not a bad person for accepting a divine decision. Say that. You are not a bad person for accepting a divine decision. Loyalty to a person is not higher than obedience to me. And if I have released you, staying is not faithfulness, staying is idolatry. You are worshiping the relationship over the one who assigns relationships. I am not asking you to hate anyone. Bless them, genuinely. Wish them well, and mean it. Pray for their prosperity, and then do it from a distance that keeps your own anointing intact. Forgiveness is mandatory. Access is not. Write that on the inside of your ribs. Forgiveness is mandatory. Access is not. You can forgive someone completely and never hand them your phone number again. You can release all bitterness and still keep the gate locked. Forgiveness is what you do with your heart. Access is what you do with your calendar. Do not let anyone confuse the two in order to get back in. Even Jesus, who forgave from a cross, still did not entrust himself to certain men because he knew what was in them. The most forgiving being in existence still practiced discernment about who got close. You are permitted to do the same. Now I want to speak to specific situations because I know exactly which one is yours. To the one where it is family, I see it. This is the heaviest kind because you cannot cleanly exit a bloodline. Hear me, I am not necessarily removing them from your life. I am removing them from your inner circle. There is a difference between excommunication and demotion, and most of what I am doing this week is demotion. Some people need to move from the front row to the balcony. They can still be present, they just cannot vote anymore. They do not get a say in your decisions. They do not get access to your dreams before those dreams are strong. They do not get to speak into your identity. Change the seat, not necessarily the relationship. And to the one where it was a friendship of a decade or more, I know. 10 years, 15, 20. That is not a friendship, that is an archive. You are grieving a shared history, a set of jokes only two people understood, a witness to your life. That grief is real, and I am not asking you to skip it. Grieve it properly. Give it a week. Cry the actual tears instead of swallowing them and calling it strength. But then close the file. The archive stays. The living relationship ends. Both things can be true. And to the one where it was romantic, where you gave years and got a version of them that was never fully available, where you were told you were too much and you believed it, and you spent a year becoming smaller. Hear me clearly. You were not too much. You were simply the wrong size for a container I never designed for you, and I removed the container. Do not spend another year auditioning to be less. And to the one where it was a group, a church, a team, a circle, a community you gave everything to, and one day you looked around and realized you were on the outside. There was no meeting, no announcement, just a slow cooling until you were the last to know. That was not exclusion, that was extraction. I pulled you out before something you could not see began to collapse. In a year, you will know why. Trust that now, because I am not able to show you everything today. And to the one who has been ghosted, where someone simply vanished with no explanation, and the not knowing has been worse than any answer could have been. Let me give you the answer, since they would not. They left because they did not have the capacity to explain, and their lack of capacity is not a statement about your value. People do not ghost strong people because those people were unworthy. They ghost because confrontation costs something they did not have to spend. Their silence is a report on their bank account, not your worth. Stop asking closed doors to explain themselves. Closure is not something they give you. Closure is something you decide. And you can decide it today, right now, in the middle of this. You can decide that the chapter is finished without their signature on it. Because here is what I know about you. You have been carrying an unfinished conversation for years. There is a speech in you that you have never delivered. You have rehearsed it in the shower, in the car, in the moments before sleep. You know exactly what you would say if you had one more chance to say it. Deliver it now, out loud, to the empty room. Say the whole thing, and then let me take it from there. Because what you could not say to their face, I have already said to their spirit. I have already handled it. There is no unfinished business in my economy. The account is settled. You are the only one still standing at the counter. Walk away from the counter, chosen one. Now let me tell you what happens on the other side of this pruning, because this is where it gets glorious. Within 30 days, you are going to notice something strange. You are going to feel lighter for no observable reason. Nothing in your circumstances will have changed dramatically, and yet the air will be different. You will sleep better. You will wake up with less dread. You will notice you have not thought about a certain person in 3 days. That is what it feels like when weight is removed that you did not know you were carrying. Some of you have been exhausted for years and blamed your body, your job, your schedule. It was not any of those things. It was the emotional labor of managing relationships that required constant maintenance to stay barely alive. You have been doing full-time work for part-time people. That is over. And with that energy returning, watch what happens to your creativity. Your ideas are going to come back. That thing you used to make, used to write, used to build, used to dream about before life got heavy, it is going to resurface. Because creativity is the first casualty of misalignment and the first resurrection after pruning. Then watch your discernment sharpen. Suddenly you will read people in the first 5 minutes instead of the second year. That is not cynicism. That is upgraded software. I install it after every pruning so the same thing does not happen twice. Then watch the doors. This is the part you have been waiting for, because the doors have been ready. The doors have been ready for a long time. They were not being held shut by resistance. They were being held shut by association. There are opportunities that required you to arrive alone, and you kept showing up with a crowd. Some rooms have a one-person capacity for people at your level. You have been trying to bring everyone, and I have been waiting, patiently, for you to walk to the threshold by yourself. This week, you arrive alone, and the door opens. Now, I said at the beginning that there would be one more thing, one thread left dangling. Here it is. There is a fourth person. I said 3 would be removed. That is accurate. But there is a fourth person involved in this season, and this one is not being removed. This one is being returned. There is someone who left your life years ago, someone you have made peace with never seeing again, who is going to reappear. Not the toxic one, not the one you are relieved to be free of. Someone else, someone good, who drifted for reasons that had nothing to do with either of you. Distance, timing, life. The relationship did not break, it just paused. I have been working on them the entire time you have been working on you. They were not ready then, neither were you. Both of those things had to be fixed independently, and I do not rush that kind of construction. They are going to come back different, and you are going to be different. And what happens next is going to make you grateful for every year of separation, because the version of that relationship you would have had before would have been a fraction of what is now possible. Watch for a name you have not thought about in a long time. That is your sign that this whole message is real. Now let me bring this home, and then I am going to ask something difficult of you. Everything I have said is one truth in many shapes. Here it is, clean. I am removing 3 people this week. The one who could only love you low, the one whose assignment quietly ended, and the one you have been defending against every warning I sent. Their exit is not your rejection, it is my protection, executed on schedule for a promise that requires the room be cleared. Pruning happens to fruitful branches, not failing ones, which means the cut is a compliment you have been reading as a curse. Do not chase, do not fold first, do not fill the vacancy with the nearest warm body, because the empty chair is not a wound, it is a reservation. And every removal in the record of my dealings with my people was followed by a replacement of higher order, without a single exception in all of history. Now here is the difficult thing. I want you to thank me for the removal. Not later, not after it makes sense, now, while it still hurts. Because gratitude before the evidence is the highest form of faith there is. Anyone can thank me at the harvest. Thanking me at the pruning is what separates the chosen from the merely called. So say it, right now, out loud, wherever you are. Thank you for who you took. Thank you for the door that closed. Thank you for the silence. Thank you for the friend who walked away because you saw the year ahead and I did not. Thank you for loving me enough to cut something I was too loyal to release. Say it until your voice believes it. Because the moment you thank me for the removal, you close the account. You end the negotiation. You stop being a victim of your story and become the author of the next one. And that is the exact posture I have been waiting for before I release what is next. Some of you have been waiting on me. I have been waiting on this sentence. Let me leave you with one question, and then I want you to sit with it in silence. If everything I am taking away this week was designed to make room for something you have prayed for by name, would you still be fighting to keep it? Sit with that, now, before you go. This message did not reach you by chance. You were routed here. Every scroll, every skip, every second of hesitation was navigation. And now you know why. Do not let the knowing fade by tomorrow. Comment 777 one more time so the record shows you agreed, and then come back to this message on the night it gets hard, because it will get hard, and future you will need present you to have left a marker. If any part of this reached the place nobody else can reach, hit like and subscribe. It is how this finds the next chosen one who is sitting in the dark right now, believing they were abandoned when they were actually being repositioned. And if you want to support the work of getting these messages to more people, you can tip the channel at the link in the pinned comment. Not a donation, a seed into the ground you are already standing on. Do not stop what I am removing. I already know what is walking in behind it. And chosen one, stay close. Because what starts this week does not end this week. There is a second wave coming, and when it arrives, I will need you to already be listening. If you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe for more.